إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وسلم تسليما كثيرا أما بعد. If you're sleeping, I'm going to pick on you. I might as well tell you. So anybody bobbing and weaving, right? Yeah, I'm going to pick on you. I might as well tell you. Right. يقول الله سبحانه وتعالى الرجال قوامون على النساء بما فضل الله بعضهم على بعض وبما أنفقوا من أموالهم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran that men are in charge of the women. Men are in charge of the women. And this is because of the virtue and the status that Allah has given them and because of what they spend out of their wealth. This is to maintain the sisters. The Prophet ﷺ says, الرجل راع على أهل بيته. The man is the shepherd, he's in charge of his household. The verse not only points out the authority that the person, the male, should have in the home, but it also points out responsibilities. And it mentions because, not only because of the status and the virtue that Allah has given you over the sisters, but because you spend and you maintain them. When it comes to the household of the Muslim, the brothers are responsible for taking care of the sisters, not the opposite. Okay? We don't have brothers sitting at home filing their fingernails and the sisters going out and being the breadwinner. That's not in Islam. A person is supposed to get up, the brother is supposed to get up, and he's supposed to exert himself to take care of his family. It's unheard of in our deen where the brother stays home and the sister is the one who's the breadwinner. That's backwards at best. That's backwards at best. So the men are responsible. Muawiyah ibn Hayda, he said, قلت يا رسول الله ما حق زوجة أحدنا عليه. What is the right of our wives over us? He says أن تطعمها إذا طعمت وتكسوها إذا اكتسيت ولا تقبح ولا تضرب الوجه ولا تهجر إلا في البيت. That you are responsible the same way you feed yourself, you feed her. Now wait a minute. If you prefer to have potato chips and ice cream for dinner, that don't mean your wife got to have the same. What it means that you provide for in a way that is suitable. Okay, you provide for yourself, you're supposed to be providing for your wife. You clothe yourself, you're supposed to be clothing your wife. That's your responsibility. And you're not supposed to speak to her in a way that is demeaning. لا تقبح يعني لا تقول قبحك الله. May Allah disgrace you. Or something to put her down. That's not the way the husband conducts himself with his wife. Okay? You don't put her down. ولا تضرب الوجه. Do not hit her in the face. ولا تهجر إلا في البيت. And you do not abandon her. For example, if there is something wrong between you and your zawja, and you have some problems, And for some reason in the home, you got your mouth closed and you ain't want to say nothing, you ain't want to hear nothing, you don't want to say anything. That's supposed to be in the house. When you go out in public, nobody's supposed to see that. When you go out amongst the brothers and amongst the sisters, they ain't supposed to know what's going on in your bed. She's not supposed to be sipping with the sisters about what's private, and you're not supposed to be doing the same. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He describes the righteous women, He said, فَالصَّالِحَاتْ قَانِتَاتْ. We dealt with the sisters already. Righteous women are obedient to Allah and to their husbands. حَافِظَاتٌ لِلْغَيْبِ. They guard the secrets that occur between them and their husbands. Not only this, when he is absent, they protect themselves in his absence as if he was there. When the brother turns his back, he doesn't have to worry about the dignity of his wife. She's a Muslimah. She fears Allah first. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, so righteous women are obedient to their husbands. I don't care how you dress. If you're not obedient to your husbands, Allah is pointing out you're not righteous. Some people got a problem. You know, back in the day prior to Islam, sisters would come and go in the homes the way they like. No, I'm going. And you better not ask her where. Well, see, in Islam, the Prophet ﷺ said, إِذَا اسْتَأْذَنَتْ أَحَدُكُمْ إِمْرَأَتُهُ إِلَى الْمَسْجِدِ. If your wife seeks your permission to go to the masjid, do not prevent her. If she has to seek your permission to go to the masjid, what you think about any place else? She's coming to the masjid to worship Allah. And she has to check in. What do you think about going to sister so-and-so or sister so-and-so? So one of the things then, that yes, brothers are responsible. There are certain things you don't do as a husband in your home. There are certain things you don't do outside of your home. What is private is private. The Prophet ﷺ said, لا يفرق المؤمن مؤمنا إن كره منها خلقا رضي منها آخر. You don't dislike your Muslim sister. If there is a characteristic in hers that you don't like, you'll love some many other good qualities that she has. And this particular hadith actually requires of the husband to be balanced in the way he views his zawja. You're not marrying someone who's an angel like she's not marrying an angel. So she has some shortcomings. She might have 85% khair, 99% khair. And you see this one characteristic and you make that the whole of her existence. This particular hadith requires you to do otherwise. You know, the Prophet ﷺ prevented both husband and wife from tajassus. Tajassus is where you try to find out where she's slipping up. Okay? Let me see. I'm not supposed to come home till about 5 o'clock. I'm going to slip in at 2. Let me see how she keeping the house. Let me see, catch her slipping. That's not Islam. The Prophet ﷺ told the brothers, if you come from a journey, don't go straight home. Don't go straight home. Let the news come that you're in town so that she could actually now prepare herself. Okay? The one who hasn't combed her hair, she could now go and freshen it up. Okay? And she might also be not, prepared for other things. Let her get prepared. Give her some chance so that you come in and you're pleased and she's able to please you also. But don't try to slip in and find her slipping on something. No. That is against what Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us. How we as husbands are supposed to conduct ourselves. You know, one of the things that most of us forget is that period of proposal. Right? I remember one brother, man, he wanted to marry the sister. He came looking so sharp. He had a Cadillac that he borrowed. Right? And he came in with some of them, you know, them flow shine shoes. And I mean, smooth as silk. Now what happens after the first 6, 7 months, right? The caddy disappeared. Right? All the nice flowers and roses that he used to bring ain't in the picture. Right? All the pleasant lines that he used to prepare to make her happy disappeared. What happened? The Prophet ﷺ was a bit different to that. Right? He would make his zawja feel special. Aisha radiallahu anha said she would be on her menstrual cycle. And she would drink out of a cup, and Allah's Messenger would take the cup and rotate it around to where her lips had touched and drink from the same spot. Understand? Yeah. All that, Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the leader, yani he is the leader of the Islamic society. And he was married to a young sister. And Aisha radiallahu anha, she pointed this out, that you got to be careful of the needs of your wife, especially if you have a young girl. When the Habasha, the Ahbash were playing, doing their stuff in the masjid, and she came out, it was her day, and she was leaning over the Prophet's shoulder, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. She said, I really didn't have no need to look at him. But I wanted all the women to see what my position was with my husband. Right? And then she said, be conscious of the need of the young girl to have some pastime, to enjoy herself. You know, sometimes we get into this habit, man, you know, bring out Kitab al-Tawheed, dinner time. No. Let's study that's good. But you got to have some downtime as well. Walk in the park holding hands. Do something different. You know, when the Prophet ﷺ told Hanzala, he came and he says, Ya Rasulullah, nafaqa Hanzala. Hanzala has become a hypocrite. Prophet ﷺ says, well, what is that? What's that? He said, Ya Rasulullah, nakunu indaka. We are with you. And you remind us of the Jannah and the Nar ka'anna ra'ya ayn, as if we are looking at it. And then when we leave you, عافسنا الأزواج والضيعات نسينا كثيرا. We start to preoccupy ourselves with our wives, you know, playing around in the house. With the kids, we forget a lot. And the Prophet ﷺ told him, if you were to stay like this, the way you are with me, the angels would shake your hands on your beds and in your pathways. وَلَكِنْ حَنْظَلَ السَّاعَةٍ سَاعَةٍ. There's a time for this and there's a time for that. When Salman al-Farisi visited Abu Darda, and Abu Darda was one of them brothers, he was struggling to get in Jannah safe. He was fasting during the day and standing up through the night. I'm going to, inshallah, make it on the next side. That's the prize. Ain't nothing in this dunya going to stop me from getting over there safe. I'm going to struggle حتى يأتينا اليقين, until certainty comes to me, death. So he was doing some stuff, fasting, and so Salman came and he saw Darda mutabadhila. He saw her, she was dressed, you know, looked like she wasn't really taking care of herself the way she would normally. He says, Ma sha'nuki? What's the matter? She says, Akhuka Abu Darda laysa lahu haja fi dunya. Your brother Abu Darda has no need for anything in this dunya. That's including his wife. His concern is, man, look, Jannah is over there, and this is what I have to do, is on. That's the prize. There's no losing focus. So he comes, and the first thing he comes, he serves Salman some food, and Salman says, "Ma ana bi'akalin hatta ta'kul." I'm not eating until you eat. So he ate. Night comes, he gets up. First thing after the night comes, he finishes Isha, night starts, he gets up to pray. Salman says, "Man, go to sleep." Goes down, he gets up and says, "Sleep." Then when the last part of the night remained, he says, "Qum al-an, fasallayha." And both of them prayed. Then his brother told him, he says, "Look, man, inna li rabbika alayka haqqa." Your Lord has a right over you. Wa li jasadika alayka haqqa. Your body has a right over you. Wa li zawjika alayka haqqa. Your wife has a right over you. And some of the narration says, wa li zawrika yani man yazuruka. Those who visit you have a right over you. فَأَتِي كُلَّ حَقٍّ حَقًّا. So everyone who has a right, give them the right. You can't have the soldier over there, you come and standing all night. Right? And she ain't know what you look like for the whole year. There ain't no righteousness in that. It may seem good, but Islamically, for you to be righteous, you have to fulfill Allah's rights and the rights of those who have rights over you. Otherwise, you're not on the right path, no matter how righteous it seems. One of the things the Prophet ﷺ pointed out is, as a husband, you gotta keep your words, man. You gotta be a man of your word and an example to the people in the household. You gotta be a man of your word. You gotta be example to the people in the household. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, تجدون الناس معادن خيارهم في الإسلام خيارهم في الجاهلية خيارهم في الإسلام إذا فقهوا. You'll find people like raw gems, unpolished gems. Those who had good characteristics outside in Jahiliyyah, once Islam comes, it polishes them. وتجدون أشد الناس أو خير الناس في هذا الشأن أشدهم كراهية له. And you will find the best people for leadership are those who hated the most. Right? When you see someone trying to step up and be the leader, that's the last person you want to choose. As a matter of fact, the hadith of Jabir ibn Samurah, the Prophet ﷺ said, "La tasal al-imara." Don't ask for leadership. فَإِنَّكَ إِنْ عُتِيتَ عَنْ مَسْأَلَةٍ وُكِلْتَ إِلَيْهَا. Because if you were given it because of your requesting it, Allah will leave you to yourself. And if you are given it because you don't want it, Allah shall assist you. So, this particular narration actually points out, look, you'll find the best people for that are those who don't want it. وَتَجِدُونَ الشَّرَّ النَّاسِ ذَا الْوَجْهَيْنِ. And you will find the worst of people, the two-faced individual. The person who has two faces. One who goes to these people with one face and the other with another face. You at home with your zawji one way, you're like a demon. And then you come in the masjid, Assalamu alaikum. Like you can't even raise your hands. And now you terrorizing the family, you're terrorizing your wife, and you're acting like a demon in the house. The Prophet ﷺ said, you will find the most evil of man, the one who has two faces. Goes to this one with one face and comes to this one with another face. Abdullaah ibn Amr ibn al-As, he said that the Prophet ﷺ says, أَرْبَعٌ مَنْ كُنَّ فِيهِ كَانَ مُنَافِقًا خَالِصًا. وَمَنْ كَانَتْ فِيهِ خَصْلَةٌ مِّنْهُنَّ كَانَ فِيهِ خَصْلَةٌ مِّنَ النِّفَاقِ يَدَعَهَا. 4 characteristics. If you have all of them, you're a pure hypocrite. And if you have one of them, you have a characteristic of hypocrisy until you give it up. Either اؤتمن خان. You're entrusted with something. Doesn't matter what it is. It could be a secret. Something personal between you and your wife. And this goes both ways. And she goes and exposes you, or you go and expose and talk to her and some of your friends. It could be something else you're entrusted with. And the kids see that you're not a faithful person. You become a role model for them in an evil way. So one of the things, if you cannot be trusted, that's a characteristic of hypocrisy. وَإِذَا حَدَّثَ كَذَبَ. And when he speaks, he lies. When he speaks, he lies. The worst characteristic of a Muslim is to be a liar. Not the worst. One of the worst characteristics that you could have is to be a liar. Ibn Mas'ud, he said, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he says, Al-kadhib yahdi ila al-fujur, wa inna al-fujur yahdi ila al-nar. Lies lead to evil deeds, and evil deeds lead to the fire. وَإِنَّ الرَّجُلَ لَيَكْذِبْ حَتَّى يُكْتَبَ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ كَذَّابًا. And a person continues to lie until he's written down with Allah as a liar. One of the worst things that you can have in the characteristic of a Muslim is that he's a liar. We shouldn't be lying to our spouses, and we shouldn't be lying to our kids. Now, there are sometimes you could polish the truth a little bit, okay, when you're talking to your soldier. All right? You so fine, man, you made the whole and ain't look like they got faults. Right? I'm talking about, girl, you that and more. You know, some things like that Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam allows for you to do in the hadith. Okay, but normally you're not supposed to be making up nothing and telling lies. وَإِذَا عَاهَدَ غَدَرَ. If a person has a covenant, he breaks it. If he has a covenant, he breaks it. You have an agreement with someone, right, and you don't fulfill it, that's a sign or one of the characteristics of hypocrisy. A husband should not have those types of characteristics. You promised the family, you agreed to such and such. Let me step back a minute. Sometimes brothers get married, right? And sometimes they've been on, ain't been married for so long, they start fessing to things they know they ain't gonna fulfill. Well, you promised me you ain't gonna get another Zoja. Wallahi, it ain't gonna happen. Right? Seven months down the line, he get upset with his Zoja. She, upset. 2 years passed, now it gets a little bit more difficult for him. And he's thinking other than the promise that he had made is looking good. Well, see, if you give your word in order to marry that sister, you have to live by it. Uqbar ibn Amr, he said, Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, أَحَقُّ الشُّرُطِ أَن تُوفُوا بِمَا اسْتَحْلَلْتُمْ بِالْفُرُوجِ. Those agreements that deserve more of your adherence than anything else are those that you contract or you come in agreement with because of the marriage bond. So if you think you cannot live up to it, then don't agree to it. Don't agree to it. Okay? Be upfront. It may never happen. It may never happen. You may never find. I mean, she may be so, treat you so royal and so good and special that you even ain't looking left or right. Okay? She makes the dunya around you seem so fragrant that you don't even want to look left or right. Now, on the other hand, if it happens other than that, then it's a problem. So if you cannot live up to those types of commitments, don't make them. Because if you do, it's binding on you. The other characteristic of hypocrisy is khasama fajr. When a person argues, he acts like an evil individual. When he argues, he acts like an evil individual. Corrupt. Telling lies, swearing, calling you out of your name, all those different things that are not characteristics of Muslims begin to happen. Okay? For us, brothers and sisters in Islam, parents are supposed to be examples for their kids. Father's supposed to be the example for the whole household. قُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ أَهْلِكُمْ نَارًا. Allah said, save yourselves, and then He said your family. So you're supposed to be the pace setter, the pioneer, when it comes to the home. Your wife shouldn't have to wake you up for Fajr. You laying down and your wife's got to come and wake you up. You're supposed to be setting the pace and waking the household up. You go around and make sure that everybody, but you sitting down, and your wife got to say, get up. That shouldn't happen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala points out that the characteristics of safety you're supposed to have, and then pass that on to your folks. Save yourselves. Practice the Quran. Put the Sunnah in yourself. Give it on to your family. Save yourselves and your people, your household, from the fire. But you're the man in the house and ain't paid. You don't even, no pay setter? The Prophet ﷺ was our example. When you look into the life of Allah's Messenger ﷺ, if you want to see a man in every which way, you find it in Allah's Messenger ﷺ. You find it in Allah's Messenger ﷺ. People came and they looked at his character and they saw Islam the way it is supposed to be. Okay? They saw it the way it is supposed to be. We have times when families have discord in the home. One of the kids was talking. He said, your pops don't push your mom on the ground? The youngster said, no. He says, what? Now just think about that for a minute. To him, seeing it so often, it had become normal. And if it didn't happen, something was wrong. Don't happen in your house? You begin to teach the generation to come how to conduct themselves with our lack of discipline, with our lack of adhering to the Sunnah. How you going to mistreat that sister over there? That's somebody's daughter, man. You may have daughters also. They have an athar from Ali ibn Abi Talib says, marry your daughter to a righteous man. If he doesn't like, he will not mistreat her. Because he fears Allah. We are supposed to be example for the kids. You as the mother, you facing toe-to-toe with your husband, you're teaching your daughter how to be disrespectful. You raising your voice to your husband when he tells you, no, don't do something. Well, I don't, what? Umar ibn al-Khattab, he came to the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He said, ذَئِرْنَ النِّسَاءَ عَلَى أَزْوَاجِهِمْ. that the sisters have become real arrogant towards their husbands. فرخص الرسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم في ضربهم. So Allah's Messenger allowed them to physically reprimand them when the brothers went overboard. So the women came to the wives of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Says, فَأَطَافَ نِسَاءٌ كَثِيرٌ بِبُيُوتِ أَزْوَاجِ النَّبِي sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The sisters came complaining to the wives of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And when Allah's Messenger came sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, قَدْ أَطَافَ بِآلِ مُحَمَّدٍ sallallahu alaihi wasallam نِسَاءٌ كَثِيرٌ يَشْكُونَ أَزْوَاجَهُنَّ لَيْسَ أُولَئِكَ بِخِيَارِكُمْ. There are a lot of sisters who came complaining about the bad treatment of their husbands to them. He says, these are not the best amongst you. Those who conduct themselves like this, they are not the best amongst you. For the believer then, for the male in the home, both husband and wife, man, you know when it comes to argumentation, you're going to be times when you disagree on something. Times you're going to disagree on things. Okay? The final say in the home is for the man, M-A-N. He's in charge. Right, brothers? Hey. The men are in charge of the home. The final say. If the husband and wife disagree, you don't start arguing in front of the kids. You don't start going in front and this one calling this one out of the name, this one. That's the streets. That's not grown-up Muslim males and females. People who have some characteristics of righteousness. They know how to conduct themselves. These innocent souls, they don't need to be exposed to that madness. You have toddlers walking around. All they want to do at this age is enjoy themselves, and they have a right to do that. This is why Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, you don't even command them to pray until they have completed 7. They have a right to be kids and not to be bothered with the anxiety that comes because of your lack of responsibility as parents. Y'all go toe-to-toe in front of the kids. Now they're sad, now they're stressed out, and they can't live a normal life as a child as it is actually expected for them to be as young Muslim kids. They're stressed out because you don't have the sense and the development as adults to act and to treat yourselves like adults. And now you're arguing like this in front of the kids. They're upset because of your childish mentality. And you're supposed to be Muslim parents. What you do if you got some problems, take it on the side. Go in the room and keep your voice down. Or if you have to go drive somewhere to talk, do something, but keep the kids away from that nonsense. Let them see a healthy environment. Let them see what Islam is supposed to be like. See, we have a lot of failures. What we need are some success stories. Right? Man, what do you think we have in some communities? People have been married 14 times, 20 times, 30 times. I'm serious. Sometimes more than that. First time something goes wrong, I want a khula. Muslim, 2-3 weeks, and she know what a khula is, and she don't even know how to make a stingy right. Know how to get out of a marriage, but don't have the dignity and the backbone to struggle to make it survive. You know, the family is the foundation of the Muslim community. This is why when Shaitan sends out his henchmen in the day, and this one said, I caused him to go back to smoking dope. This one I caused him to do such and such. You ain't do nothing. Another one came, I continued until I caused the husband and wife to separate. He says, anta ant. You're the man. You're the one. Because now you break down the fabric and the foundation of the Muslim society, and now you have children who are displaced. And you have a society and a community that has been compromised, and the breakdown starts. Because we didn't have the dignity and the maturity to try and work things out. Try to troubleshoot, to make it work. Things are not going to be, you're not marrying angels and they're not marrying angels. But trust is you have to trust an individual. When you lose trust, you might as well forget it. Might as well forget it. No. The Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned in the hadith, he says, al-mukhtali'at hunna al-munafiqat. Those sisters who request a separation for no just cause, they're hypocrites. Everything happened, I'm out. I want a khula. Not even, a divorce so let's see if we could, maybe perhaps I may have a change of heart. No. And some of them get bad instructions from the Muslim sisters. Girl, go and get your khula and go back into counsel. Ignorance, the blind leading the blind. So for us, brothers and sisters in Islam, we have certain directives from the Quran and in the Sunnah. If we don't follow it, we're destroying ourselves. If we do, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help us. And He will make the relationships that we have better than they are right now. But we have to do our part. The brothers have to be men, the sisters have to be wives. The men are in charge, the sisters are after. We are not in Jahiliyyah anymore, we are Muslims. The things that we used to do prior to Islam, we have changed our ways because we're trying to get to Jannah. And the only way to do that is to adhere to the Quran and the Sunnah. We're not trying to be like we were yesterday. We were in darkness and Allah gave us Islam. So we are going against our desires because we know what Allah has chosen for us is better. And so that is what we want for ourselves and for our kids. Okay? Aisha radiallahu anha said, if you wanted to see she was asked about the characteristic of Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and she said, khuluqul Quran. His character is the Quran. If you wanted to see Allah's revelation being actualized on the stage of life, the Sunnah is where it's at. And that's our guidance. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.